Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back with another cafe racing video, a training race that we do in my club Alba Rosa. So the segment is 24 kilometers long, starting just outside of Skipton, heading north towards Linton before heading back down to Burnsell, up Burnsell Fell and finishing at Bolton Abbey. As you can see, the weather was a bit grim this past Saturday, so quite a small group of hardy souls. I think there was 8 of us in total. So yeah, this course is not particularly suited for me with that climb up Burnsell Fell. So it's about a 5-minute effort, and I think it maxes out about 15% towards the end. So yeah, really today my aim is just to kind of get up the road if possible and kind of race it aggressively, especially on the ramps towards the beginning of the course. Are really suited for kind of launching an attack. And talking of launching an attack, here goes George on the right hand side. Yes, I kind of hesitated for a second there, and yeah, Will took up the chase. However, I could see that the gap was starting to open up, and so I tried to bridge it myself and get across over to George. However, I didn't really make any separation from the group behind. Just as we managed to reel George back in, Peter launches another attack over the top. However, this break doesn't last very long, and after a while the group is back together. Coming up to the climb out of Rillstone, and I was in the perfect position to jump onto the wheel of Banksy as he launches the attack off the front. As he settles back in again, I think George comes past us absolutely flying up this climb, and I think I had to put out like 1200 watts I think there. Yeah, but I think I did about just over 1000 watts for 10 seconds, trying to this time actually get across to George, and yeah, still doing 600-700 watts just to sit on his wheel. So George is absolutely flying up this climb over the top of the hill, and George flicks the elbow, and I reluctantly pull through, but I am absolutely blowing at this point, like literally on my limit. And I just wasn't able to put enough power out, and probably hampered the chances of us getting away. In the end, we were reeled back in, and Sam and Banksy launched a counter-attack over the top. George was able to go with them, and I think eventually Holloway is able to go across too. So now we have 4 up the road, and this is a bit of a precarious position to be in, because if they start working together, probably they're going to get away and stay away. However, luckily they didn't work well as a group, and myself and Dingus were able to bridge back over to them and reel them back in. Turning towards Linton, and we're now heading into a headwind, and so yeah, best position to be is back here in the wheels, not taking any of that wind. And yeah, so this kind of section was kind of neutralized a little bit because of that headwind, with no one really wanting to go up the road. So we're now coming into Linton, and as you can see there, I was able to make up a few places in the group by basically just not touching my brakes as we're coming through there. Yeah, best way to kind of move up the group is to kind of ride that wave as it were, and to kind of move up as everyone kind of slows down. Coming through Linton, and there's a little rise out of Linton, and yeah, thought to give it a little dig, kind of see if I could get away at all. But yeah, unfortunately my little break was hampered by a tractor, so the group came back together, and we're now heading towards Burnsell and Burnsell Fell. This section is quite tough with a couple of kickers, that lasted around about 30 seconds, about 45 seconds. And I had planned on making it quite hard, but as you can see, Banksy's already on the front, giving it full licks. So yeah, he's doing my job for me, making it hard for everyone behind. So we're now not far away from Burnsell Fell, and yeah, the group is still pretty much together. So I kind of, on this downhill, decided to kind of launch a last ditch attempt to try and get away. So yeah, to see if I could distance anyone who was descending cautiously. However, my progress was halted once again by traffic. Yeah, I was caught behind this Peugeot on the little run into Burnsell, which is an absolute shame, because once you get into the little village, with all the parked cars and stuff, if there's a car coming the opposite way, you're going to have to come to a stop. So yeah, I'm not saying I would have got away, but it would have been nice to have a bit more of a gap going into the fell. In the end, yeah, started on the first ramp, gave it everything I could, yeah, going up to about 700 watts, but even then, the kind of momentum of the chasing group, and George being an absolute monster on the climbs, just yeah, they absolutely breezed past me, and I had absolutely nothing, just yeah, kind of settled into my own rhythm. I tried to hang on to the kind of the chasers as going up the climb, but yeah, really all that work I'd done earlier, I could really feel it in the legs, and yeah, I just didn't have it to kind of to go with them. So now onto the steepest part of the fell, so it's 15% through this wooded section, and I'm just trying to keep that chasing group in sight, and yeah, I think they're around probably about 30 seconds of the road at this point, and I just kind of thought, if I can keep them in sight, hopefully I'll be able to catch back up with them on the kind of lumpy downhill run into Bolton Abbey. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be, and yeah, kind of rolled in to the finish solo. So a wet and aggressive edition of cafe racing this month. Unfortunately, none of those attacks came to anything, and my quest to get over Burnsell Fell at the front of the race continues. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.